I'm Big Belly.
And I'm Bumbles.
And we are
Big
Belly
Belly Bumbles. Everybody, it's gone up 10 degrees in an hour and a half. It was an hour and a half ago, it was 30 degrees an hour and a half ago. It's 8:30, and at 7 o'clock, it was 30 degrees. So, Stephen's got some good weather for 40 degrees. I am about to leave the house, and so, as happens all the time, I have to leave, and Stephen's going to be leaving shortly too, I think, to go to Hopkinsville, but I have to leave the house, so I have to maybe spend a few minutes talking about what Stephen has done in the past hour and a half, since 7 o'clock. Now it's 8:30, and so let's talk about that. And I know I've missed, and I'll continue to miss, but everything about me filming Stephen is hit and miss, and I apologize for that, but that's just what it is. So, I have not been inside. I've been inside the house. I've missed all the action. And our viewers are getting used to the fact that everything I film is spotty and pieces here and there and pieces there, because we can't film everything just by default. So, are you about ready to go to Hopkinsville?
We're not.
So, what will you be doing in Hopkinsville?
I'm going to press in some new bushings and get them ready.
Well, I just saw that the thermometer went up 10 degrees. So, it's 40 degrees instead of 30 degrees. So, that's good.
Well, that's the way it goes. Now that I'm finishing up my job, the weather's going to straighten up.
Now that you're finishing up, the weather's getting better. You couldn't have sunshine the whole time you were working on the truck.
Yeah.
So yes, the Thalmans at Kentucky Western Truck Lines have you said earlier they're one of the very rare people that have a reaming tool now, right?
Yep. Not even Freightliner had one.
Not even Freightliner.
No, they sold me the kit, but they couldn't give me access to a tool.
They sold you the kit, but they couldn't give you access to a reaming tool. Isn't that something?
No, he's tried to call me a few times. If I can remember and get around to it, I'll call him back.
Oh, Tags tried to call you a couple times?
Yeah.
Well, I know
I left a message and said that they would be willing for me to bring back that kit and get another one. And they'd have to take whatever, damaged parts out of it and take it from whatever, the deductions and blah, blah, blah. So in other words, we'll get you another one at your cost.
Yeah, they weren't willing to do an in-store credit for you.
So that's what they were willing to do. They were willing to get me another one.
But you'd still have to buy it.
At their cost.
Right. But you'd still be out of pocket. The travel to go get it and pay for it, and
they're having no responsibilities for it. And I didn't think that they would. And in the last 30, 40 years, that's the way it's been in this world. And so there's very few people that are stand by. They'll do what it takes to earn you as a customer. But those days are long gone. People can care less if you're a customer or not. You can get your ass out if you don't like the way we're doing it.
In other words, there's no customer loyalty, and no loyalty to the customers.
You don't like it, get down the road. That's the mentality of today's businesses. And I didn't expect anything different, so
So what am I looking at right here? What's this on the ground?
The one, what's it called, didn't want to come out. So look at here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not doing anything. This it's like Ruthie likes to watch animals take a dump. This truck is taking a dump.
Oh wow! Look at that.
I'm not doing anything. It's just coming out all on its own.
It's taking a dump. You don't have to tell everything you know. He's referring to one time in the snow on a hot, steamy day. A dog was taking a dump on a hot, steamy day.
And she goes, I just love watching animals take a dump.
You make me sound like a sick individual.
That's what it sounded like to me.
Now, what is this?
The kingpin I just took out.
Oh, that is a kingpin. Okay. And it just fell out of the truck's cavity, like taking a dump.
Yep, just dropped it out for me. Which is a good thing. I've seen videos, and I've seen people where they get these damaged, and it takes torches and hammers and everything else to get them out.
Hold it out straight so I can see it. So people have had to take torches to get them out?
Master mechanic was talking about was this piece here. He was talking about this has to face down. See?
Oh, you're talking about YouTube is awesome?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. YouTube is awesome. All right,
He was referring to this facing down. So this is facing down.
Okay. And what's that piece called?
This is a bearing.
Okay.
See? And these are shims.
Those look like what are those thin things? Gaskets. Those look like gaskets. Okay, so what's the difference between a shim and a gasket then?
A gasket is for sealing, and a shim is for taking up space.
Because those look awfully like, I mean, they're so thin. They're paper thin like gaskets are.
They're shims.
Oh, okay. So they're for taking up space.
Yep.
Oh, when you go to town, did you say you wanted to get some gasoline and diesel?
I did that yesterday.
Oh, you got gasoline and diesel yesterday?
Yep.
Oh, well, that's good.
Now, this is where I was talking about where the corrosion was there, Mr. YouTube wants to be awesome.
It's YouTube is awesome.
YouTube awesome. See right here on top of the bearing, there was corrosion between there and the axle right here. So, but he says all this is exposed to elements. The only part that isn't exposed to elements is this right here.
So YouTube is awesome is our master mechanic. He's a Freightliner mechanic, isn't he?
I don't know. I would imagine he's something like that.
Oh, it's my understanding that he was a Freightliner mechanic and that he worked for Freightliner.
He's been diesel mechanic for 36 years.
So he's been guiding Steven. So this is a shout out to the to our subscriber, our viewer called YouTube is awesome. He is a master mechanic, and he has been directing and guiding Steven and offering him free advice, which we appreciate. He did make the comment, I will go ahead and say this. He did make the comment that the reason why the Freightliner on the phone didn't answer your question is because I didn't want to give you free advice.
Yeah, speaking of which,
when you called up Freightliner and they wouldn't talk to you, they wouldn't.
Still haven't given me the specs on that bearing over there.
Steven called up
This is the old bearings.
That's the old bearing. Steven called up Freightliner last week, and they wouldn't tell him anything. And YouTube is awesome said, well, why would they? It'd be free advice, and they'd be out of a job.
Well, what the one over here in Calvert City does, he says, give me your name and number, and I'll call you back. And he never does. I would prefer an individual tell me that we're not privy to give you that information, then to tell me I'll call you back, and then you're waiting on them all freaking day to call you. You know?
Right, you're waiting on a phone call, and they never call you.
Right.
Just tell you up front that
Yeah.
you're not worth their time.
That's right.
Just say
Not
you're
worth your time, but just we're not privy to give you that information. You know, and I said, oh, okay, well, thank you.
So,
And then I'll be on my way, and I wouldn't sit around waiting on them all day long. A lot heavier than one yesterday, because it has an extra knuckle to it. This right here.
why does it have a extra knuckle?
Because this one here is for the, remember that drag link? You said, what's that big old thing right there? This drag link hooks to it, which goes to the steering gearbox. And then, so that goes up here. And then this one here goes across to the other wheel. Where this one only has the one that goes across to the wheel. But this one here has another one goes to the drag link. So that you can actually steer the truck. So one of those is going to the steering.
And that's why it has an extra piece on it like that?
That's why it has an extra piece.
Okay.
That extra piece, watch out, definitely makes it a lot heavier.
So Steven will be going to Kentucky Western Truck Lines in Hopkinsville. Is there any way you can film them bearing it out?
Bearing it out? No, I'll be helping.
You'll be helping.
Yep. I'll be holding that.
Oh. I guess I just wish that I could show our viewers. I wish I could just show our viewers exactly what that process is, but I can't go. I'm fixing to leave to go somewhere else.
The other kingpin. I need that and the bushings. What I do is just had those bushings in my hand.
So Steven will be unable to film it because he will have to hold the tool, or
I'll be holding that. And I'll be helping, so my hands will be full.
okay.
I mean, he's willing to do the work, but he ain't gonna do it without my help. I'm not
Right.
just gonna stand there with my thumb up my butt and go, "Oh, you're doing a good job there." But
Is he charging us for it anyway?
He may, and I'll be willing to pay him.
Well, of course.
But they typically don't charge me.
Well, of course you'd be willing to pay. Of course.
So I have the bushings and I have both seals in there. Okay, got the seals. Alright. That should do it. And take that stuff. The biggest part here was getting it all cleaned up. So, as you saw, it's a pretty big job. I'll have to clean that up before I put it back on, but right now I need to get out of here.
Yep, I do too.
If I did, I'd have to throw it. Alright, let me pick up my expensive tools.
AJ asked about Joy Boy.